Hey guys, quick spoiler warning, this video will contain One Piece and Naruto spoilers of course. And just a quick message, this video is extra long because I had a lot of stuff to do and I didn't want to leave you guys with like a 10-minute video, so you probably have a 15-ish to 20-ish video. Have fun. Hello you lovely cubs, it's the Dragon Lord here, and today we will pick up where we left off in part 1 of What If Luffy had the rinnegan. If you haven't seen that, I do advise that you go watch that, since it has been covered before this. So without any further ado, let's get in. Shanks and his crew leave, and after a week or so, Garp actually comes and picks up Luffy. He brings Luffy to Mount Kolubo, to some mountain bandits that Garp knows. Garp knocks on the door until a woman with orange hair screams in his face. After realizing it's Garp, she apologizes. Garp actually uses this as an opportunity to dump Luffy on them. The woman with orange hair, or Dadon, tells Garp that she doesn't want to take in another brat. Luffy says that he wouldn't want to stay with some bandit losers anyway. This ticks off Dadon, and she starts screaming at Luffy until Garp coughs once. She instantly drops it, but tells Garp that they already have their hands full on him. While Dadon and Garp argue, Luffy just runs around a butterfly. Keep in mind, he's 7, so he's still not very bright, but Luffy can sense something coming his way. He dodges what looks to be spit. Of course Luffy gets angry, even though it didn't hit him. He sees this boy sitting on a rock and tells the boy to apologize, or he will regret it. The boy, who is of course Ace, completely ignores him. Luffy gets a little ticked off by this and takes the purple cloth off his Hinotori, which is his sword for those of you that didn't see part 1. And Garp actually wants to stop Luffy, but as soon as Luffy lays his hands on the hilt of Hinotori, everyone on the mountain gets paralyzed. Because of the sheer energy he's releasing, Ace actually gets scared. But Luffy stops, smiling at Ace, realizing that it was just a little spit, nothing to get mad over. Luffy would ask Ace if he would want to be his friend, but Ace, out of fear and because he doesn't want to hang around a 7-year-old boy, ignores Luffy and just runs away. Garp leaves, telling Daden to take good care of Luffy to make sure he becomes a marine. The moment Garp leaves, Daden starts yelling at Luffy, who is distracted by wanting to become friends with Ace. Luffy would run after Ace, but lose him eventually. This is when Luffy gets lost for a week. When Luffy comes back after a week, he is famished and he looks on the verge of death, which sends Dadon in a panic. Ace actually feels bad but doesn't show any emotion. They nurse Luffy back to health, and after 2 days or so, Luffy chases after Ace again, actually keeping up with him instead of falling behind like in canon. Luffy is about to reach where Ace is but falls in one of Ace's traps. At night, when Luffy went back to the hut, the Daden family, which is the name of their group of bandits, they are all about to start feasting on some meat that Ace got for them. Luffy gets none and just gets a bowl of rice. This is when Daden tells Luffy that he's gonna have to pull his own weight, like doing dishes, laundry, cleaning, or polishing their weapons, and so on. And if he would like meat, he would have to get it himself. Luffy actually steps out and after 5 or so minutes comes back with these 3 huge boars, and tells them that he can hunt, but that they will have to teach him how to clean and stuff. Ace actually thinks that this kid might be a marine undercover or so he keeps his distance even more. Luffy actually keeps chasing Ace for like 2 weeks or more, until Luffy finds the Grey Terminal, where he finds Ace and the blonde boy named Sabo, who are hiding away gold. Luffy sees this but doesn't call it out. Of course, Sabo and Ace capture Luffy and tie him to a tree. Sabo and Ace talk about how hard-headed Luffy is, and some other stuff, until Ace says that they should kill Luffy, so their secret is kept. Luffy of course doesn't want to die, so he starts screaming no and help a lot, until Ace hears people coming. They set Luffy free and hide, but Luffy gets caught by Porkamy, a member of the Blue Jam Pirates. Luffy accidentally spills that he knows Ace, so Porkami asks him if he knows where the treasure or Ace is. Luffy tells them no, but can't keep his face straight. So they take Luffy at their hideout. Porkami starts beating up Luffy to get the location of the treasure. Luffy actually doesn't fight back. As long as he gets hurt and not Ace or Sabo, he's fine with it. Luffy does not say a word for hours while he's getting beat up. After a while, Porkami has had enough. He gets a sword out and is about to slash Luffy, but before the blade hits, the hideout gets invaded by Ace and Sabo. While Ace is fighting Porkami, Sabo saves Luffy, but while Sabo wants to run away, Ace stays behind and Sabo decides to fight too, but while they're fighting, Sabo makes a mistake and gets punched by Porkami so hard it sends him flying into a wall, which makes him pass out. Ace ends up in a corner and is about to be killed, but Luffy actually steps in saying, "Those who hurt my friends will suffer," and with one slash of his Hinotori, he dismembers Porkami's arm. He finishes it off with a Gum Gum Gatling, which makes Porkami pass out. He takes Sabo and Ace and then he leaves. Porkami gets scolded by Blue Gem, but Porkami has PTSD, as he just constantly repeats, "That kid is a demon." Blue Jam finishes him off, and then sends two men after Luffy, Ace, and Sub. After they are in the forest, Luffy just won't stop crying because of the near-death experience. Ace tells him not to, and to cut it out, and asks him why he didn't just tell them where the treasure was. Luffy tells him that he was afraid that Ace would not want to be his friend. Ace tells Luffy that he has been a prick to Luffy for months now, and asks him why he is so persistent on being friends with Ace. Luffy tells him that he doesn't like to be alone, that's why he wants to be friends with Ace. Ace asks him why me, which Luffy replies with, "Gramps is all I have. I have no parents, and I don't like the mountain bandits, so I want to be your friend, Ace." This makes Ace think of his past, and they basically accept Luffy out. Sabo brings up a huge problem on how he can't stay in the forest, because he might get killed. So they take Sabo to the Data Knot. Dayton makes a fuss about it in the morning, but drops it. The three go out and the first thing they do is eat. This time Luffy eats with them. Ace starts asking Luffy questions like about his sword and the Gum Gum Gatling. Luffy tells him that he got his sword from a pirate called Shanks. He tells Ace that it's like the strongest blade in existence. As for his Gum Gum Gatling, it's just sorta came to him yesterday. Ace tells Luffy that he's a moron because what if someone was listening in and stole his sword? Which Luffy replies with, "Nah, they can't, it's bound to me," and demonstrates it by throwing Hinotori away and calling it to him. It flies back into his hands, like in a second. Sabo and Ace are kinda impressed by this. Sabo asks Luffy about his eyes, and Luffy tells him that it is his other devil fruit, which Ace instantly says that you can't eat multiple devil fruits because you will die. Luffy tells him that he doesn't know why he has two devil fruits. They drop it and Sabo asks Luffy if he has any other cool moves, which Luffy replies with yes and shows off the Gum Gum balloon. They basically start playing soccer with Luffy as the ball, until Luffy drops into the water, where he is then swallowed whole by a crocodile. Sabo and Ace save Luffy and take the crocodile to... Before they go back, they go and check out the old hideout and the Great Terminal. At the Great Terminal, they get seen and chased. They escape, and they get back to Dayton's house and start cooking the crocodile. The next day, Luffy and Ace have a sparring match. Luffy actually wins the first round. Then Sabo and Ace have a match. Sabo loses, but Luffy takes him by the side and whispers him something. They have a rematch and Sabo actually wins. Ace gets furious and asks Luffy what he did. Luffy then exposed a flaw in Ace's fighting style, which Ace actually thought that was pretty cool. They get closer to the point where Ace calls Luffy a friend. They get hungry and go for some crocodiles. Weeks go by and the boys get stronger each day. One day they go to the city for some food. They're standing on top of each other's shoulders so they look like an adult. They go to this fine dining restaurant. Inside, Sabo shows the attendant a weird badge and asks for the VIP room. The attendant gets shook and instantly says, "Of course, sir, a person of nobility shall get the best treatment." They eat 25 bowls of ramen before they are figured out. As they jump out of the window and run away, a old man calls out to Sabo. Ace asks Sabo if he knows the old man, but Sabo tells him that he might just be mistaken. Sabo is forced to tell them the truth when they get to the forest, and Sabo says that he's actually born of nobility, and that the person calling him out was his father. He tells the reason why he ran away from home and a bit of his past. After this, Ace screams out into the ocean that he will become a legend. Luffy takes this chance to scream out that he will become the king of the pirates. Then Sabo brings up the fact that they are saving up for only one ship, and that what if they all want to be captain? Luffy says that they could become part of his crew, which instead of turning it down like in canon, Ace actually brings up a competition. He says first to get a bounty over 500 million will have the other two join his crew. Luffy and Sabo accept this. After this, they make a pact over a cup of sake that they will become brothers if they share sake, and they do become brothers. It's also a way to bond them over the competition of the 500 million bounty. Half a year or so passes and they do a lot more stuff together, like stealing, hunting, fighting, and they build a hideout. They end up meeting this old man who has fought Roger, the king of the pirates. Luffy asks this old man if he could train him. The old man trains Luffy for a week or so, and this certainly gives Luffy a massive boost. Remember, Luffy has the rinnegan, so he learns very fast. So he learned a lot about his devil fruit. In strength, to the point where Sabo and Ace don't stand a chance. Luffy's able to use all his gum techniques, and he's able to use Shinra Tensei every minute. He's also able to grow 2 more arms and change them into actual guns. This makes Ace and Sabo want to trade under the old man, too, which they do for another week or so passes. Luffy pretty much can use Shinra Tensei every 30 seconds now, and he has unlocked one of the animal path's animals, the bird. To be precise, he uses this to fly around and scout too. He has unlocked one last thing in this week, and that's the Shibaku Tensei, basically the ability to make a small planet. Luffy can make it about the size of a miniature house and throw it at people without having to put much effort into it, but if he really tries, he can make a boulder as big as a small mountain, and he'll be able to hurl it slowly. Ace and Sabo get a massive strength boost too. Ace perfects his martial arts and Sabo perfects his stick fight. After the training, they end up helping the old man build his ship for another 2 weeks, which makes them physically stronger. Before the old man sets sail, he gives them their final test of hunting a tiger. They basically do this with no sweat at all. They beat and caught the tiger in under 2 minutes. After a month or so, the trio are beating down thugs in Grey Terminal and stealing their money. When they get stopped by a huge pirate group, Luffy and Ace get pinned down as Sabo's father pops out, together with Blue Jam. Sabo gets told to go home, and Blue Jam gets told to do whatever he wants with Ace and Luffy. Sabo then tells his father that he will live whatever life his father wants if he just lets Luffy and Ace go. His father agrees to this, and the pirates take the boy home. Luffy and Ace get taken to Blue Jam's hideout, where they are told to leave Sabo alone. Luffy challenges Blue Jam to a fight, and if Luffy wins, Blue Jam will need to let them go and not interfere with any of their business. Blue Jam accepts, but tells Luffy that if he loses, he will become a worker for Blue Jam, unpaid and not fed. Luffy accepts. The fight begins and Luffy basically ends it in a second, making Blue Jam sit on the near state of death. As was agreed upon, the boys were set free and left alone. Blue Jam would ask Luffy's name, which Luffy replies with, "My name is Monkey D. Luffy." Blue Jam reports this to the nobility, and the next day, one of the mountain bandits is panicking. They don't ask what's wrong and shows that Luffy has a 20 million bounty. They are worried for Luffy, but it flies by quick as they read that Luffy actually beat Blue Jam. Sabo would learn that they are gonna burn down Great Terminal and tries to stop it, but he gets caught. Luffy and Ace get out of Great Terminal before the fire is even set. They don't lose the treasure that they saved for 6 years. Sabo escapes his father's mansion and tells Luffy and Ace that he's going to set sail. The people are cheering for the arrival of the Celestial Dragon at the same time, but then they see a small boat that has a Jolly Roger on it set sail. This of course is Sabo. Luffy and Ace come and see off Sabo. When Sabo passes the Celestial Dragon ship, he gets shot by a cannon. This sinks Sabo's boat. When Luffy saw this, he got so angry, he had an outburst. He would all of a sudden have a white cloak with these 2 black balls floating behind him. And he would have a staff with these like weird black rings on it. He would teleport right in front of the Celestial Dragon's face and punch it. The Celestial Dragon would not take this kindly and try to shoot Luffy, but Luffy just slashes through the bullet with his Hinotori. Luffy would say, "This is for my friend," while holding a hand up in the air. He would then disappear. The Celestial Dragon would be very confused by this, but as he looked up, his face changed to one in horror. A massive meteorite is coming down on their ship, and it sinks their boat in. The Celestial Dragon somehow survives, and is scarred by the boy with the purple eyes and a straw hat. He would get into the docks and be nursed back to health. When he came to, he immediately asked the name of the boy with the straw hat, and the noble that is Sabo's father tells him that Monkey D. Luffy is his name. The Celestial Dragon rewards Sabo's father for this information and calls them Marines. A week later, Deidon, Luffy, and Ace are mourning Sabo's death while enjoying a meal when a bandit comes storming in, saying Deidon over and over again. She yells at him, "What?" and he shows her the paper. Her face turns pale, and Luffy and Ace are confused. Ace takes the paper and his face goes pale as well. They all look at Luffy, and he says, "What?" "Luffy, you have a bounty of 800 million, which astounds everyone. For beating up a Celestial Dragon and sinking his ship, Luffy got a 780 million bounty increase. Luffy just shrugs it off. Ace then says, "Well, I guess I'll be joining your crew," but Luffy refuses this, which astounds Ace, who tells Luffy, "But we made a deal." Luffy tells Ace that it doesn't count if Sabo isn't around. Luffy is about to turn 8, which means he is one of the youngest people with a bounty over 500 million. 10 years or so go by, and Luffy is about to set sail. But if you want to know what happens, you'll just have to wait for the next part. I'll see you beautiful cubs later.